Hi there, my name is Steve.
And my name's Sam, and today we're going to answer all the questions you guys have about Nara. Nara was created out of Filmlight's extensive imaging expertise to transform how media is accessed, reviewed, and shared. In today's media industry, we're dealing with massive complex image files, from raw camera codecs to EXRs for VFX and complex deliverables for distribution. And that means huge amounts of data needed in an instant. Traditional workflows demand robust infrastructure like transcoding and a lot of manual upkeep.
But with Nara, all that changes. We deliver a streamlined, secure, fully color accurate viewing experience for everyone, anywhere, without the need for costly transcoding. It saves production time, ensures the best possible presentation, and raises the bar for media access.
The aim of Nara is basically to democratize the access of media throughout the entire pipeline. And what do I mean by that? Well, in most workflows today, accessing media is incredibly complicated. It sounds like it shouldn't be, but let's say I'm a producer and I want to gain access to high fidelity files like EXRs or OCF material or complex deliverables. I bet you ask any facility, what does that workflow look like? And it's probably quite a painful one. And the aim of Nara is to basically make that incredibly simple. Nara's interface is intentionally simple. It's a clean, web-based experience that lets you browse storage by project or folder, complete with thumbnails and rich metadata. The core feature is being able to stream any file to your browser instantly from anywhere. And here's the big deal. Nara supports over 160 codecs and formats, from raw camera files to EXRs, complex deliverables, IMFs, DCPs, and everything in between, as well as standard MP4s and MOVs, all without transcoding. That means no matter the stage in the pipeline, Nara can fit right in and let you review your footage in its original form.
We make it easy to organize projects. A single project in Nara can cover multiple folders across multiple storage silos. That alone is huge. Consolidating your files fully searchable and streamable in one place. From a practical standpoint, it's a central hub for every team member in the facility. You can share links to specific files, ensuring everyone is looking at exactly the same version. And you can securely stream to external clients or vendors. So if somebody needs to see a native VFX shot, you can instantly provide it.
And the key advantage that we have over other solutions is that we are not a proxy-based software. What happens is we read the source, and from that source we cache that locally, and from there we derive the output based on the user's requirements. So if the user needs to prioritize bandwidth, they can compress that stream. If they need to prioritize quality, then we can go all the way up to 100 megabit stream for HEVC, for example. The idea is that because we are not changing the source, you can derive any output that's required by the end user. And so we are probably the most flexible image streamer out there.
Modern post-production is a juggling act of tools, integrations, and constant maintenance. Sam and I have spent decades in the media world, and we've seen how quickly the chaos can escalate. Facilities only rely on a patchwork of products, each solving only a slice of the problem. They spent countless hours just keeping everything in sync. In this high-pressure environment, mistakes are time sinks and ultimately cost money.
We built Nara to alleviate that burden by offering a cohesive framework. It tackles those pain points head-on. Ultimately, we want creatives to focus on creativity, not wrestling with fragmented workflows.
After working in the media industry for a number of years, you kind of realize that the problems have never really been fixed in a pipeline, but ultimately it's always been difficult. So what we did with Nara, when we realized that Filmlight had the tool set, we realized that we could actually produce a product that could be renderless, that didn't need transcodes, didn't need uploads, but would allow us to have that color accurate pipeline right from the start, right to the finish.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue really is that in the world we work in today, where workflows are incredibly distributed, the biggest problem that most workflows find is how do you gain access to those files as quickly as possible? How do you put eyes to images and get communication going around what you're looking at without having to have big, cumbersome workflows backed behind those projects? The expertise we bring to the table is one, knowing how to handle the codec regardless of where it comes from, and making sure that we can give that to somebody so that they can get eyes on it and they can communicate about what it is that they want around that file. Essentially, that is the simplest thing about Nara, is that it's giving people access to media, but regardless of what format it originates from. And that makes it incredibly lightweight when it comes to installing in facilities. You as a facility don't necessarily have to change the way you work. You can just make sure that you can gain access to the files you're interested in far, far easier than you do currently. To be totally honest with you, anyone in media and entertainment. But here's a specific example. If you ask an editor or a colorist or a finishing artist who knocks on your door the most, it's most likely the producer. Nara lightens that load by letting producers handle quick reviews themselves, for example, checking a shot, verifying a VFX fix, or looking for a reported issue. Instead of tying up a grading suite, they open Nara on their browser and they're good to go. We've also built powerful integrations with Basslight, naturally, letting you browse and stream active Basslight projects and even adding timeline notes. We also plan on adding other integrations with NLEs and finishing tools in the future. As a company, we know post-production really, really well, but the more conversations we have for people throughout this industry, the issues still sort of remain the same, which is I want to gain access to media securely, I want to gain access to media fast, and I want to put it in front of the people that I need to get it in front of in an instant. And what we've also found is that a lot of facilities, when they're presented with solutions to these problems, they're presented with solutions that ultimately they kind of have to migrate data from one place to another, like a software as a service, for example. But a lot of these facilities, they already have a backbone of infrastructure that they can make use of and they can leverage. And so what we've done is we basically provided a solution that allows them to leverage exactly that, but still provide these sort of cloud-based services directly to their clients. And so that's sort of one key motivator behind expanding outside of post-production, is because we've seen that those problems seem to still be a problem.
Nara is primarily on-premise, typically as a 1U rack server with GPU, NVMe cache and high-speed networking. But it can also be deployed in the cloud within your own AWS estate. Whether on-prem or cloud, it integrates seamlessly with your existing storage fabric using standard protocols like NFS and Samba, or access high-performance clustered file systems with a client driver. You name it, we support it. Crucially, you access Nara via a browser, so there's no installer needed on your device. It's a straightforward solution that slides into your infrastructure without fuss. All that is needed on the user side is a laptop, desktop, or tablet, which can run Safari, Chrome, or Firefox. But for high-end color-critical viewing, we also offer a JPEG XS output from Nara that, in conjunction with our FL Remote software, can encode an SDI output from the network stream.
You can customize your bitrate from 1 megabits all the way to 100 megabits. We've even streamed 8K R3D files over sketchy trade show Wi-Fi. If you can do that at NAB, you can probably do it anywhere. The real load is on the server side, where Nara does the heavy lifting. As long as it's on the same fast, high availability network as your production storage, it'll handle bandwidth and caching to keep things running smoothly. Filmlight has 25 years of industry-leading color expertise, and that's built into Nara. Our color engine ensures every frame is precisely managed, and you can even configure your own color pipelines without losing accuracy. It's not just about how many megabits you push, it's about ensuring the color reproduction, dynamic range, and overall integrity of the image remain consistent. Nara uses the same color engine that's built into Basslight. That's the same technology that's trusted on Hollywood blockbusters and top-tier OTT projects. We rely on native SDKs from camera manufacturers to ensure each file is processed exactly as intended. Plus, we adhere to industry standards for all of our codecs and formats. Users can customize color pipelines with ASYS, Red IPP2, ARRI Reveal, or any custom color workflow that they see fit. The result is a faithful, accurate stream. We recently deployed Nara at Lightiron, Panavision's post-production division, consolidating file navigation and secure playback into a single, effective platform. Previously, producers relied on 2 separate applications, which lacked the necessary metadata depth, slowed file indexing, and limited real-time playback, often lacking crucial file support. By contrast, Nara streamlines daily media verification through DI finishing, saving valuable time and enabling production and post teams to manage tasks more effectively. We do have a much more detailed version of this case study. You can find the link below. We have some really big plans for Nara, and some of those specifically focus around feedback from existing customers, but also sort of branching out in terms of the type of solutions we can provide our end users. So some of those are basically rendering directly from inside the application. So an example would be doing VFX pulls, so transcoding OCF directly to EXRs via the application. Or generating quick times or work in progress shots that producers can send to their end clients. There's many reasons to render files out. A few other things are direct integrations with other NLEs. I mentioned earlier that Nara is basically capable of interacting directly with a base-like project, and this basically gives them advantages of seeing what's happening inside the project live. And this has huge advantages for post facilities because it kind of gives producers more up-to-date information about where their project currently is. And we've tried to expand this development out to other NLEs, so basically giving users the ability to look inside their timelines and extract the information. We're working on giving our clients the ability to have independent review sessions with their clients. So what I mean by that is they're able to basically choose a file that they want their client to have a look at, and their client can, in any time they want, log into Nara and access that file and provide notes and comments. This gives facilities much more flexibility in terms of how they can service their clients directly from within Nara.
The roadmap has come from our end users. We had a mature indexer, media-specific indexer. We have a renderer, and then we produced the streaming technology as well to do that end-to-end encrypted, which was great. So we had all the tools, but we had no idea really in the beginning how our clients wanted to interact with that. So the most important thing about Nara is the amount of work we've done with our clients and understanding where within that pipeline from starting and shooting to finishing and producing deliverables, how do we fit Nara into it, basically? And it's been quite an experience.
That's totally true. What I would say is the next year of Nara will be completely shaped by our end users, and ultimately the problems that they want fixed are the problems which we will solve first.